Pink by For Secret's Sake. Chapter 1. I had met Dolores in the 8th grade. She had been quiet, defensive, strange, and sad. I can't say I knew her then. Aside from a bit of banter, she and I had never had a real conversation. But she did strike me as interesting, just because of the way she insulted me. It was fun hearing what she'd come up with on any particular day. Remarks about my Ken doll perfection, my ridiculous $50 t-shirts, and the classic fake tan. At first, I thought she might have liked me, but then I realized she was just bored, which was fine. Never did I take her teasing seriously. That was it. I never thought about her in my spare time or even remembered her once the year ended and we went to different schools. I had no idea how she was, and I didn't care. She had just been an acquaintance, nothing more. I was in the 11th grade when I saw her again, as I walked down the halls of Monarch High School, on my way to a class I wasn't eager to get to. It was just an elective. It's not like it mattered anyway. And I saw a girl with bright pink hair tied up in 2 buns. I didn't recognize her. She was accompanied by Sam, the hyper-happy girl whose endless list of extracurriculars included giving new students a tour of the school. I didn't pay her too much attention, just as much attention as you would give any pretty girl with bright pink hair wearing a blinding yellow jacket. I walked into my class, late, and sat down. Mr. Edgar was making zombie noises again, trying to explain the concept of perspective and 2-dimensional art. I had no idea how imitating monster sounds was supposed to do that, but the rest of the class seemed to get it. It hadn't been the first time I had walked in to find Mr. Edgar pulling some strange new stunt to teach. He was the only teacher I'd ever had who tried to make learning fun, and succeeded. "What's going on?" I asked Talia on my left, who smirked and rolled her eyes. "That's what you get for being late," she said. "Just tell me," I said, and put my bag below the table. "I would," she said with a smile, but I was late too. We laughed quietly, and then I turned to my right, trying to see what Hannah was doing. She saw me, scowled, and covered her paper with her hand. Talia now always made fun at how obsessive she was. I was about to ask Mr. Edgar for one of the worksheets Hannah had when the door was opened by Sam and Miss Leary, a counselor. Behind them was the pink-haired girl I'd seen in the hall. Miss Leary introduced the girl as Dolores Morales, and I finally realized who she was. I nudged Talia on the arm. She rose her eyebrows as to say, "What?" "That's the girl from middle school, the one who'd read the Bible during class." Talia knitted her eyebrows. "Nuh-uh," she said. "Are you sure?" I insisted that I was correct, until Talia finally agreed. Mrs. Leary left, and Mr. Edgar asked Dolores to say a few things about herself. She smiled and nodded. I'm Mexican-American. I go by Lola, and I like pink," she said, and signaled to her hair. "That enough?" "Any hobbies?" Edgar said. She thought for a few seconds. Dancing and chewing gum," she said, and made a bubble with the piece she was just chewing. "All right, then. Welcome to my class, Lola. You'll find that we like having fun here. I'll get you a sketchbook tomorrow. Take any seat you like," Mr. Edgar said with his usual smile. She sat across from me, and Mr. Edgar continued his lesson, zombie noises and all. A couple of minutes passed, and I noticed the girl was doodling weird bear-like bunnies on her sketchbook. "So you go by Lola now?" I asked, as casually as I could. She looked up curiously. "Yeah. Who are you?" "Jacob. We went to middle school together, Aspen Lake." She widened her eyes and rested her chin on her hand. "Pretty boy. I remember you." "You look different," I said, ignoring the nickname. "You look exactly the same," she said, smirking. "Thanks." "Well, actually, you somehow got prettier." I laughed. She was different. Really different. I mean, the sarcasm was still there, but she had a new air of confidence. I bumped my beauty routine up a notch. "It shows. Bat your eyes in a swoon." I batted my eyes as she laughed. I couldn't help but be attracted to her. She was hot, and her cleverness made it even more so. The class ended, and when the bell rang, Lola asked me if I wanted to walk with her to the bubble tea place a block away after school. I accepted, and we agreed to meet in the atrium after that last class. She caught me by surprise, but it's not like I wasn't used to girls asking me out. The nicknames Lola called me suited me well, and it was because I was popular and good-looking and had a new girlfriend almost every week. As any teenage boy would, I was already imagining if she'd be good at sex. But then I remembered my overall expression of her from 8th grade and snapped out of it. This was the girl who literally read during lunch and obsessively made sure the kitchen was spotless in culinary class and dressed as if she's either about to go to bed or about to go to a job interview. I wasn't attracted to her at all before. I understood that naturally it was probably because she lost weight and dressed nicely and immodestly now, but it still shocked me that she'd changed so much. I saw her in the hall, already making new friends. That too was different, since she'd had no friends in 8th grade. It never seemed like she cared, though. As I passed her, she winked at me. I smirked at her and kept walking, ignoring the tightness in my chest. Where the fuck did that come from? "Hey," Lila said, waving as she approached me, leaning on the wall. We began walking and she asked me if I had a cigarette lighter, which I didn't. "Let me check. I might have a match." She dug around her bag and found one. "Want one?" she asked, offering a cigarette. I shook my head no, and she put them away. "Do you mind if I smoke? Like, by you?" "Nah, it's cool. I smoke too, just not very frequently," I said. She nodded and lit the match in her cigarette. "So tell me, are you still a slut?" she said and blew out her smoke. I laughed. "Yeah, you?" "Am I still a slut?" "No, like, did you become one?" "Of course not," she said with an exaggerated feminine voice. "I am a lady, pure as the snow," and she put the cigarette back between her smirking lips. We kept talking until we arrived at the bubble tea place. "So what the hell happened to you?" I asked after we'd paid for the drinks. I couldn't find a better way to phrase my question, but she seemed to understand it. "You mean why is my hair pink? Why am I smoking, and why am I suddenly fun?" she said casually and took a sip. "Yeah, I guess that's my question. Not that it's bad. I mean, the hair you'll probably regret." "Fuck you," she said jokingly. "And if you must know, I finally realized what a waste of time giving a shit was." "Does this mean you won't get good grades now, and you'll party and smoke weed?" I asked, actually curious if she would. "Why, do you have weed?" she asked. I faked an offended expression. "I am a law-abiding Coloradan. Of course I have weed." She laughed and looked at me with a faint surprise. "You're actually funny now, pretty boy. And you tell me I've changed." "You thought I was funny in 8th grade." "No, I didn't." "You did. I caught you trying to keep a straight face more than once." "Ah, damn it, you've exposed me. I have a terrible sense of humor." We laughed, and trying to figure her out was hard, especially with her being so damn charming. She asked if I wanted to exchange numbers since she didn't have Snapchat, and so we did. We kept flirting with each other until we were back at school. "Do you want a ride?" I said. "I'm good, thanks," she responded. "All right," I said, with the same smile on my face I'd have for the rest of the day. I felt silly. I wasn't used to having crushes, but in one day's time I was suddenly feeling butterflies at the thought of her. Could you blame me? If you'd met her, you would have felt the same way too. Anyway, that's how I met Lola. There seemed to be no trace of Dolores left, save perhaps a tinge of sadness in her eyes. End of chapter 1.